Hey guys, I'm Bowsley and welcome to my channel. Today I want to bring for you guys this Toxic Ray build, super cheap, super low budget and super effective hit and run build. If you guys have never played any poison or dot builds, damage over time builds, you definitely came to the right place. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, babies and elephant, welcome to another new video. My name is Bowsley and today I want to bring for you guys Toxic Rain Pathfinder. Right. So I've never played any poison or damage over time builds and this is my first experience and I must say it's really awesome. Reason why is because it's super effective during low levels, especially when you're trying to go through your axe. And when you're under a really low budget, this is absolutely the best, one of the best ranged arrow builds out there for you to try out. Now, why? Because first of all, it doesn't require a lot of gear to actually execute high amount of DPS, just because it relies mostly on a few things: damage over time, poison damage, chaos damage, and damage over time multiplier, and basically your gem levels. So you need to scale, most importantly, the higher your gem level, the more damage you will do. That is basically it, right? There's not much to it. So that's why it's very easy to scale. And especially when you have no gears and you're trying to league start, definitely an easy option for you to go for. I've never tried, I always wanted to try, and actually I decided to try this one out, and it never seems to disappoint me at all. Like, I'm very amazed with the results. As you can see, the showcase earlier, it was just towards the end. I just actually finished my axe. Just started this new character yesterday, and I think I spent like more or less than half a day, and I got everything sorted out, which is really cool. So it's really low budget for people, especially it's really new player friendly. So if you're new to the game, definitely this one will help you go through a lot of the obstacles that you're about to face, like clearing the maps, even bossing, single target bosses. You don't need to swap any gems out. You just use the same gem for both clearing and single target for the bosses. So without further ado, let's jump right into Ascendancy. Now, Ascendancy, usually for poison builds, there are a couple of options. Usually people will opt for Trickster, which is under the Shadow class. That one does a lot of DPS as well on the early stages. But if you want to scale your character on late game, definitely Pathfinder will have a much higher edge to it compared to Trickster, just because of the Ascendancy points right there. So at the moment now, I only done labs. Let's see. I only done labs, only done 2 labs. I haven't done the third and the fourth one yet. I haven't done Uber labs. I haven't done Merc lab. Already done the first two, so only have two main nodes for my Ascendancy. So, but I will let you know like what are the other nodes that you want to pick up after if you go through and go up to Uber Lab. So the first and foremost, the first node that you want to pick up will be Nature's Reprisal. Now, why? Because, okay, so how does this skill work? It's basically converting your physical damage into chaos damage. Now, the more you convert from the physical damage to chaos, the more deep damage that you will do. So usually, it's very hard to obtain 100% conversion. Usually, it requires a lot more gear, a lot more stuff, other stuff to, work around with each other just to get the 100% conversion. But due to the new update, they actually buffed a little bit on Toxic Rain. So instead of converting 50%, it's converting 60% now on the base gem itself. So the jewel itself base, as you can see here, it's 60% physical damage converted to chaos damage. Now that means only 60%, but what about the other 40%? Now that's why you pick up this node, because here will be additional 40% of physical damage converted to chaos damage, which means 100%. That's number one. Number two, you get 15% more chaos damage with attack skills. So Toxic Rain is an attack skill, so definitely will be additional chaos damage. And chaos skills will have 30% increased area effect. Now, this is an area skill. As you can see, this one has the tag for AoE on the top. So basically, whatever that scales area damage and area effect will definitely boost this area effect. So as you can see here, if you cast the skill, right, it's like within the area. So the larger area effect that you have, the more enemies you will hit, basically, right? So that's quite important. Second thing you want to pick for DPS as well is Master Toxicist. Now, the second point, right, you can actually, there's two choices, right? It depends on your situation, but I find that this one will be more important because of the DPS, because you want to go through the axe really quick, right? So you need a lot of damage. So this one will be very useful because poisons that you inflict during any Flask effect will have 30% chance to deal 100% more damage. That means you will double your damage. So there's a 30% chance that you will double your damage, which is insane. And then when you kill the poison enemy during any Flask effect, that means when you're using a Flask, nearby enemies will be poisoned as well, which is quite cool. So that is the second option that I went for. Definitely did not disappoint me at all. Now the third thing, right, it really depends on what you want to do. So one of the best ways to actually scale the damage for your Toxic Rain without putting in a lot of investing a lot into the build is actually going for attack speed and increased duration. Now why? So poisons, unlike bleeding, you can only have one stack of bleed. Poisons, you can have multiple stacks that has no limit to it. So basically, the faster you hit, the more stacks you apply on the enemy, the faster the damage will stack up, and it will deal more damage that way. So you want to hit really quick, and the poison duration as well. So the longer the duration, the longer the stack will stay there, and the more stacks that you can stack on. So that's how you scale the damage for poison. Now, you can actually go for Nature's Adrenaline. So this one gives you move speed and attack speed when you use Flask effect. So basically you get a lot of attack speed from this one, which means in exchange for more damage as well. Or you always go for Nature's Boon. Now Nature's Boon, because you will get 6% reduced elemental damage taken, so it gives you more survivability. Your Flask gains 3 charges every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, your Flask will gain 3 charges. And there's a 20% chance that your Flask will not consume any charges at all. So this is a really good option as well. So it depends on which one you want to pick. If you have some gear, go for this one. If you don't have gear, you want attack speed, go for this one. So I would say ultimately go for Nature's Boon. And then lastly, you want to pick up Master Alchemist. So this one will make you immune to elemental ailments while you're under Flask effect. And 40% increased elemental damage and 20% chance to freeze, shock, and ignite enemies during Flask effect, which is really, really cool. So that is the main Ascendancy points that you want to look at. Next up, we're going to talk about the gear. So it's really, really, really cheap gear. So let's assume in 2 scenarios, right? So now currently I'm using a Tabula Rasa. Now, because this is my second character, this is not my first character. So I can actually afford for Tabula Rasa. So let's say there's 2 types of players out there right now. 1 is the new player, 2 is the second character, or you want to try something new. So if you're a second character, I'm pretty sure you can actually afford a Tabula Rasa right now, because the Tabula goes for like, I think 10 to 15 chaos for a Tabula Rasa right now. And it's really, really cheap. Definitely you can afford one. If you're a new player, there is a way for you to afford one as well halfway through. So let's look at a new player's perspective, right? So let's say you're a new player. You don't have any currency there. Fine. You can use any armor you pick up. Most importantly, that you want to get at least 4 linked on your armor or your weapon, whichever, right? So you want to have 4 linked on your main skill. So I'll explain on the gem links later on, but I'm just letting you know, the armor that you get, make sure 4 sockets are linked. That's the minimum requirement to at least have a decent amount of damage, right? That's the only thing you need to worry about. Everything else that you see here is not that important, okay? So the most important thing is the 4 link. That's it. So as I was telling you earlier, right? So attack speed helps a lot into outputting that much DPS for your build. So that's why you pick up Quill Rain. So Quill Rain is a really cheap bow that you can get. A couple of chaos, you can get a unlinked one, and then you can link yourself, or you don't even need to link it. It's up to you, because all the gems I put here is just to level other skill gems as well. So it's not important, you know. You can use a 1 socket one. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is because this one gives you increased physical damage and 100% increased attack speed. So that's why you can spam Toxic Rain like that.
My mana is gone.
Okay. That's Quill Rain. Secondly, the armor, like I said, Tabula Rasa will be the ultimate option. But if you don't have one, just pick any armor that has falling. Okay. As for the helmet, now early stage, you can't use this Staconia's head, because this one requires you to be at least level 65, I think. Anyway, just pick any helmet that you can pick up. Any armor actually works, right? You don't need to get uniques like this. It's just that I'm just giving you options. If this is your second character, you can actually try to use uniques like this. Or if even though you are a new character, you picked up a few chaos orbs here and there, you can actually buy this from the market, and you know, you can use them, right? So uniques, you can use this as a really low level, because this one gives you damage leech. The most important thing, the reason why I picked up this helmet, just because of the 10% increased movement speed, because I want to have as much movement speed as I can. Now, bear in mind, in this build, this 7 leak step boots is absolutely not required at all. The only reason I have this one is because I could afford one. I bought one just to make my game, just to finish the act faster. That's it. If you're a new player, do not worry about these boots, because this boots is not cheap. It's about 100 chaos. You don't have to worry about the boots. Just use any other boot. For really, really early stages, a fresh character, just use a Wanderlust. This one does wonders for you, because it gives you 20% increased movement speed. It gives you dexterity, it gives you energy shield, it gives you mana regeneration, and you can't be frozen as well. Wanderlust will work like a charm, and then after that you can use Dusto if you want when you're level 18. But this one gives you some life, some energy, some movement speed. It gives you chaos resistance when you're under Flask effect, and it gives you add chaos damage to spells and attacks during Flask effect, which is really cool. Really helps out with the DPS as well. So these are the 2 viable options that I would definitely recommend. In terms of armor, I would say you can pick up a Brisk Wrap, really cheap as well. A few chaos, you can get one. This one gives you, again, move speed, because the more move speed you have, the faster you will clear shit. And because how the build really works, right? It's like you hit and run. So you spray down the poison arrows on the enemy. They will take damage over time. You can actually move away, because eventually they will just die. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a hit and run. So when you hit them, when their life go down to about 20%, pretty much they're dead. You can just walk away. They will just die. Okay? So you do not need to worry too much about staying in one spot. You can just move around a lot. So movement speed will be very important for you to dodge stuff as well, right? And you want to pick up a Worm's Mold at very early stages, because this one gives you Leech to help out your mana sustain, but most of the time you will need a mana potion to rejuvenate your mana all the time as well. And this one gives you Strength and Intelligence, which is really what we need in the build, because most of our primary stat comes from Dexterity, so we need a good amount of Strength and Intelligence from the build. The Quiver, you can just use this Quiver, a Rare Guard, because this one gives you really decent amount of defenses. It gives you a chance to block attack damage. It gives you a chance to block spell damage. It gives you armor. It gives you projectile damage. So projectile damage, whatever you scale from projectile damage, will be exchanged to damage over time damage, right? I believe it says here in the skill gem. Yes. So as you can see in the skill gem, it says modifiers to projectile damage apply to this skill's damage over time effect. That's why. So when you scale a projectile damage, it will scale for the damage over time as well. This is a really cool necklace I pick up. It's very cheap. It's cost me like 1 alchemy. Really cheap. Reason why is because first of all, it gives you 8% increased maximum life. There's a 28% chance that you gain a frenzy charge when the enemy has at least 5 stacks of poison. Applying 5 stacks of poison is almost always, like I always get charges like this. I always get frenzy charges and power charges. So why do you want frenzy and power charges? Because 10% increased damage with poison per frenzy charge. So on a base character, you will have 3 frenzy and 3 power charges. So in other words, you're getting 30% increased damage with poison for having frenzy charges if you have 3. And also 3% poison duration because you want to increase your duration. So that means 3 times 3, that's 3 charges. So 3 times 3 is 9% increase poison duration for your power charges as well. Just for 1 alchemy. Definitely something that you want to look into. Very nice, unique. You want to pick up Paraxis as well, so it helps you a lot more on your mana sustain. Just because it reduces the mana cost of the skill and regeneration as well. Something that you want to pick up. Simple. Another ring, I just use some life, some resist. Nothing too fancy, just very simple ring. For the gloves as well, you can basically, ultimately, you're just going to use a rare glove. You're going to use a rare boots. Most of your stuff you're going to use is going to be rare at the end of the day, during the end game. So do not need to worry about the uniques. I just picked this up because I had this in my stash tab. This one gives you some leech, some attack speed, and some evasion. That's about it. For the belt, I'm using 2 jewels. So the jewels will give me life and resist. Most importantly, why I want to use this belt is because the life and resist I have right here will be scaled 75% increased effect of the socketed jewels. So I have 29 plus 28 life here, so that's 57 life. So they'll be increased by 75% increased effect on it. So potentially I'm getting about 80 to 90 life just on the belt itself, which is a lot. And the elemental resist will scale as well, 75% increase. The boots, like I mentioned earlier, just any rare boots that you have, or you can use these two. So that is the gear choices. Now let's talk about the skill gems. The main skill gem. Now let's talk about if it's a falling. So it's a falling, you want Toxic Rain. You want Vicious Projectiles. And also you want to use lesser poison support. Let's see. One more thing very important when you are choosing your gems, make sure that you have as much chance to poison on hit as possible. Let's see. Yeah. So lesser poison support. Basically, you can pick this up at a really early stage. I think at level 1 you can pick it up. So there's 40% chance to poison on hit. So you have to make sure that your chance to poison on hit is really, really high so that you will always poison the enemy. Alright? So lesser poison support is definitely something that you want to use. So I would say the first, as a new player or new character, Toxic Rain, lesser poison, and you want to pick up Mirage Archer. So Mirage Archer is basically another what do you call it? It's an archer that pops out of above you, and then you will cast whatever that you cast at a slower speed. So that means you're double dipping most of the time. So Mirage Archer will be definitely a really good option. So Toxic Rain, lesser poison, Mirage Archer, and then after that you can pick up any of these like Vicious Projectiles, Deadly Ailments, or Swift Affliction, whichever one that you want to use. So ultimately you want to use Empower with Toxic Rain, Mirage Archer, Vicious Projectile because it's on damage over time, damage with more damage with ailments because poison is an ailment, and also damage over time 40% more. So this is all how you scale, more on the damage over time. So damage over time, damage over time multiplier, chaos damage. These 3 are the main damage multipliers that you can scale with. Let's talk about movement. So movement, we use second wind with dash, very simple. Supporting gems we are using right now, I am using Sharpner Ballista just because I'm using it as a decoy, and I am supporting it with Withering Touch. Now, when you cast down the Ballista, when you support Withering Touch, so what Withering Touch does is, there's a 25% chance that it will inflict Withered on the enemy. So when the enemy is withered, it will take 24% more, 24% of the physical damage will take as extra chaos damage. So basically you deal more damage. So this is a really cool addition. Defensive layers, we are using cast when damage taken with Immortal Call. That's for our defensive layer. And we are using Summon Stone Golem, just for the life regeneration. And the aura that I'm using right now, I'm only running 2 auras, which is Herald of Agony, and we are running Despair. So Despair, I'm using with Blasphemy, because now Despair is a curse. Basically, you need to cast it and target on an enemy. So to save you the hassle on doing that, because you're running around a lot, just use Blasphemy. So Blasphemy support turns your curse aura into curse target skill into an aura, so you don't have the target skill and cast it. So Despair and Blasphemy. Okay? And Herald of Agony. So Herald of Agony will summon Agony Crawler. So there's 20% chance to poison on hit as well. It will help you poison on hit. It gives you more poison damage, and it does DPS, gives you attack speed, gives you increased physical damage, and added physical damage for your character as well. So that is the Herald of Agony. So that's the 2 auras that I'm running right now. And the other gems I'm just leveling up. I'm not even using them. And that is the skill gems. As for the Flask, very simple. I'm just using Life Flask with remove bleeding, movement speed, Quicksilver Flask. The most important thing, like to always have your mana up all the time, is that you make sure you try to get a mana that have this mod on it. Flask effect is not removed at full mana. So when your mana is full, it will still continue regenerating as you use your skill. Let me show you here. So let's say I'm casting Toxic Rain, the mana goes down, right? And I take the potion, so as I'm using, you see, as it's still regenerating, even though I'm using the skill. That's why you want to have this mod. It's very important. The Flask effect does not queue, okay? And last but not least, some defensive layer again, 10% chance to dodge attack hits, dodge spell hits, and gives you phasing as well. So that is the Flask choices. Next thing we want to talk about is the Pantheons. So Pantheons, because I'm still running labs, I'm going to use Rizlada, because this one, I'll get 3 charges every 3 seconds, but as soon as I picked up the Ascendancy node, I don't have to use this anymore. The main major god, you want to use Lunaris, so this one gives you up to 8% physical damage reduction and move speed as well. Really, really cool. Bandits, you want to kill all of them, kill all 3 of them, because you need the skill points. You don't need crit damage multi, you don't need all those stuff, you only need skill points. Okay, let's jump into the last part, the skill tree. So skill tree, you'll be starting off as a ranger. This is where you want to start off. Pick up some life nodes, and then you want to pick up finesse. So this one gives you move speed. Attack speed. Then move up and pick up Heart of Oak. This one gives you life and regeneration. Pick up ballistic mastery. So this one gives you projectile damage, which scales for damage over time. And an aspect of the eagle, which gives you life, move speed, and damage over time with bow skills. So Toxic Rain is a bow skill, so that means you get the buff from the increased damage over time. Then you want to move down here and pick up this way, Herbalism, pick up more life nodes because you need survivability. And then after that, you can go this way or this way, whichever you want. Or you can even go down. So let's just say you go to the right, and then you pick up the node right here, Master Fletcher. So this one gives you increased damage over time with your bow skills and attack speed, which is what we want. And then you want to move up here and pick up the defensive node. So this one gives you, Acrobatic gives you 30% chance to dodge attack hits. Less armor, less energy shield, doesn't matter because it's not important. And less chance to block spell and attack damage. But as you add more and then you pick up Phase Acrobatics, you gain additional 30% chance to dodge spell hits. Really good defensive layer. You definitely need this one over here. And then after that, you can move up here and pick up some damage over time nodes. Fatal Toxin. So this one increases the damage over time multiplier. And Chaos Resistance and gives you poison duration. And also increased damage with poison. Hunter's Gambit, same thing. Chaos damage over time multiplier. And skill effect duration and damage over time with bow skills. And then you're going to pick up Blood Drinker for life and life leech. And then move up this way, and you pick up Coordination for attack speed, Blood Siphon for life and life gain on kill, and some strength, Entropy to give again increase the skill effect duration and increase damage over time. So this is this part over here, and then after that you can move down here and pick up Swift Venom. So this one gives you damage over time multiplier, attack speed, And Poison you inflict will damage 5% faster. Arrow Dancing to give you more survivability, more defensive layers as well. Even though we don't have a lot of life, we have a lot of defensive nodes on our skill tree, so it actually helps us dodge and evasion and dodge evasion and a lot of evasion. Yeah, dodge evasion. You know what I mean. Toxic Strikes here, damage over time multiplier. Thick Skin for more life. Farsight for more damage and attack speed and damage over time. Wind Dancer, again, another defensive player for less damage taken if you've been hit recently. Less evasion if you've been hit. 20% more evasion if you've been hit. And then after that, Avatar of the Hunt. So this one gives you more damage over time, move speed, and increased damage. And then you can move up here and pick up a jewel that you can get for like something like this. Increase chaos damage, damage with poison, and the cost of skills. And then you can move up here for skill duration. So the more you scale with skill duration, the more DPS you will do as well. And then go this way, Sentinel. And then after that, pick up Constitution that gives you a shit ton of life as well. At the moment, this is about it. Currently now level 70. Defensive players will have a lot of 40% chance to dodge attacks, 30% chance to dodge spells. There's a lot of dodge and a lot of evasion going on right now. So the next step, I just finished all my axe. I need to get proper gears right now. I need to gear him up, cap all my resist, get more DPS, get a better bow, stuff like that. I might pursue on this build a bit more. If I were to pursue this build a bit more, I might come up with an updated version with a more endgame edge to it, with much better gear than what I have right now. But in conclusion, really fun build to play with, hit and run, not much of stress. Among the bow skills, this is one of the strongest, I would say, for early stages, like early game, league start, especially when you're trying to clear all the axe. Definitely something really fun to play with. Very, very cheap. You can have just shitty gears like this and still do decent amount of damage. Imagine when you scale a bit more, you can do shit ton of damage just from poison stacking. So it's really, 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 really cool. The only con for this build, same goes for any other ranger build, is that sometimes it tends to be a bit squishy. That's it. That's the only thing. So it's kind of like a glass cannon, but you know, given the fact that we have really low budget, it's a league starter build, not to worry too much. So if you guys enjoyed this build guide, if you guys enjoyed this build, or you have any suggestions or any advice or any comments, please drop a like or drop a comment down below in the comment section. If you like my videos, if you like what I do, please like and subscribe to my channel. I do build guys videos almost every week. And I really hope that I see you guys on my next video. Peace out.